Hi, welcome. We're going for today's section 3.3 lab. I wanted to do something a little different, so I decided to walk through it here on the recording. It's a self-discovery lab, but the directions might need a little demonstration. So I'm going to do that for us today. So that's number 2, Discovery Labs for the Graphing Transformations Discovery Lab on the homepage of Math 93. So when I click that, I get this. So I need to download this PDF and then come back here to submit the word done. So I get my points. So I'm going to click that to get my PDF. That should download pretty quickly, and then I'll open that. And you'll see that we actually have 2 links. I'm going to put on the left side of the screen so I can open up these links too. Actually, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to open up this one, and you can see I held the control button down when I clicked on that, so it pops up in a new tab, and that way I can still have my old document. And I'll do the same with this one. So if you hold control and click, then it opens in a new tab. And you can also drag it out. And if you hit, this is on a PC, I don't know about the Macs. I'm sure there's a button, but I don't know what it is. If you hold the window key and the left arrow, it puts on the left side of the screen and splits it up for us. So yeah, so now I have my instructions on one side, I have Desmos on the left. I'm actually going to put the graphing transformations over there too. So we have those 2 websites that we're going to use, the interactive maths for the transformations and also Desmos activity. So I'm going to sign into Desmos. Let's see, I'm going to sign in with Google, so if I need to change my answers later, I always can. And that way if I don't finish, I can just log back in. Oh, it looks like I've already done this. All right, let's sign in as guest then. So, all right. Okay, so now going back to my directions here. So we're using these 2 websites. Number 1 says from the interactive maths webpage. So that's this one over here. Go to Graph Transformations 1. So that's this one down here. There's my mouse. I don't know if you can follow it. There you go. And click on that. And we're going to read the directions here. In the activity below, we have drawn the graph of y equals f of x. And the reason they're doing f of x rather than telling us this is clearly the graph of y equals x squared, but they're calling it f of x because we're trying to generalize in section 3.3 how to shift all graphs. So the techniques we're using in this section work for all functions, not just the one that they're showing. This is just an example for exploring. Okay, so we have a function here, the blue line, and let's see here. Actually, it's a red line, but it's covered by the blue lines. You can't tell that. So reading the directions, so the function's actually in red, and the transformation is in blue. So right in here, I want you to take a few minutes to explore what happens when you change B. So when B is 0, the blue is on top of the red, which is why we don't see the red originally. And then predict what will happen to the blue graph as we change B. So what happens when we're adding on a number? So click in that website and do some exploring. Use this slider to adjust B. Try to predict what's going to happen before you do it. Describe in your own words what the function transformation does, kind of to yourself for now. And I'll have you put that into Desmos. And then predict the coordinates of the minimum point of y equals f of x minus 4. So try to guess what's going to happen. And then you'll take your little slider and go over there. I'm not going to go that far because I want you to get online and do it yourself. But I'll slide B down to -4 to find out what happens. What is my minimum point, or this point right here, when I have B equals -4? So once you convinced yourself you know what's happening, then you're going to go to transformation 2, but we're not going to do that yet because first we're going to finish what's on my directions on the PDF over here, which says once you feel good about that, after you experiment and observe how adding b to a function will transform the graph, go to the tab with the Desmos, and we're going to complete slides 1 and 2. So I'm going to tab over there. So here's my Desmos activity, and you can see the same graph. Desmos calls it A, so you can change things around here. And you can see that f of x is x squared. So the general form, like what they did in what we just saw on the transformations page, is just adding a on top of onto the function. But f of x is x squared, so I can also write this. So this purple graph and the green graph are actually identical. So directions here, I can actually unclick either of them, and as I'm moving a around, and I can see that that purple graph and that green graph are the same graph. So calling it a general function, f of x, and just adding a and seeing that this transformation will work no matter what this function is. So like even if I change this to x cubed, whoops, that's not, I don't know what that is. X cubed, there we go. You can see that, I'm gonna get rid of this purple graph. You can see that transformation of the red graph. It works, so you can actually change your function, and when you keep the function in general form, you can see what transformation happens for any graph. So you can kind of play around on this slide, and then after you're done playing with that and exploring and convincing yourself again that you understand what this transformation does, go ahead and go to next. And here you're going to describe the transformation represented by that adding a constant on the at the end of the function. So I'll have you type your answer there. So I'm going to ask you right now to pause this video and go to the graph transformations page, explore here, and then go over to Desmos and explore on slide 1, and then answer the question on slide 2. So please pause, and when you're ready to come back, then we will go on. Okay, so I didn't read the rest of this, but this is kind of what I was talking about. So slide 1 has us exploring, and we can click these, we can toggle these graphs on and off and continue to play. You can change things around, you can change the function, you can add a new function. You can continue, let's see, actually I want to do that. So you can continue to play on slide 1 by creating another equation. I can create another equation by using this plus button, and I can say f of x, and I can make this a g of x function and call this g. And let's see, we did a lot of absolute values, so let's do an absolute value graph and add another function. And if I do that function, g of x plus a, or plus 6, let's just decide what a is, then I can see and I can test out my theory on what this transformation does. All right, so after you're cool with, you just learned about vertical shifts. So after you're cool with that, then you're going to go on to slide 3. Actually, you're not. You're going to follow the directions on the PDF, which is actually going to have you skip 3 and 4 for a minute and come back to that. I'm going in order of this page. So now from here, we're going to transformations 2. So from the interactive maths page, we're going to move on to graph transformations 2 by clicking there. And we're going to do something similar on this page. So this time our addition is actually inside the function rather than just added on top, added at the end of the function. So how is that going to be different? So read these directions, play again just like we did for number 1, and then after you've played and explored and are convinced that you know what's happening, then you go to slides 5 and 6 in Desmos. And you'll come back to 3 and 4 in a little bit, but I wanted to, they're in slightly different orders. So we're going to go to page 3 and 4. Whoops, 5 and 6, sorry. So then this one relates to the same way. Here's a new function. Again, if you don't like that function, you can change f of x to whatever you want. And this blue graph will demonstrate that transformation to that function. So then you're going to go, so explore there, and then you'll answer the question there on page 6, and then repeat that for transformation 3. And following the directions here, there's no Desmos for transformation 3 because it's just a combination of the previous ones. And then you'll go on to transformation 4, which doesn't seem to want. Oh, you know what happens sometimes on the notice on this website, it gives me this error, and you can just click OK. I don't know what that error is, or it seems to work okay though. So I don't know, maybe it'll get mad at me. Yeah, it's like this vertex is, I don't know, it's some kind of error in the file, but it seems to be working okay with the transformations. So just click OK, and that way the links work. And then you go to transformation 4, and the directions on the PDF transformation 4. Explore there as C changes, and then go to the Desmos, and that's where you're going to go to Desmos page 3 and 4. Okay, so following the steps on the PDF, kind of walking you through these two together. And then we'll go to transformation 5 for step 5. Again, you have to hit that OK on the error so you can hit that link. And there's a lot of ads. Try to ignore those, please. And then I don't know why that error is popping up. And then step 7, actually I put transformation 7 and 8 together because neither of them have a Desmos page to go with it. So just kind of walk through this step by step, looking at every page of the transformations. So this is a fun section right here. Where's the... Okay, so interactive math just does those first 6 transformations, and then so that brings us to step that wraps up page 6. This page is kind of fun, so you can actually do some predictions with your pen. And then bringing us to step 7, now we're going to jump just to Desmos, and there we go. So so we're going to just finish up the Desmos activity now, which has some more putting it together stuff and some applications. So finish that up, slides 9 through 12, and then 13 through 20. So really 9 through 20, I guess I should say. These are how you get your points, and Desmos is how you get your 20 points. So completing those 20 slides. Once you're all done with that, you can go to, this is kind of like a bonus, I guess. After you've kind of explored and you're feeling pretty good about it, then go to step 9, go to open this Desmos file. Again, I'm going to hold down my control so I don't lose my PDF. And there's my graph transformations Desmos file. And this is kind of a cool file to just explore all these different things that's going on. And you can toggle graphs on and off and kind of see, explore, predict where you think something's going to be, and just test your knowledge. This one's not graded. This is really just for exploring and testing your own knowledge. And same with 10. This is me saying, you know, Desmos is such a fun tool. You don't have to follow, you know, our assignments. You can actually go to Desmos. There's probably a faster way to get here, but I know this will work. Graphing calculator. If you're ever wondering how to get, you know, is my graph right? Am I doing this right? You can open up blank Desmos files and test things out. So say you have what on your homework, say you have 2 minus x, and you're wondering, wait, that's not shifting how I thought it would. So let's see what happens. And you can kind of experiment and change it from x to x minus 2 and see what's different and try to think about what's going on. So it's just a fun way to kind of test what's going on and learn through exploring. So that's how we're going to do this Discovery Lab. So I left a lot of that for you to do independently and have fun with.